Yeah, this time of year again, Fast and Furious, or every 2 years, I think. Fate of the Furious is a movie that I was very much looking forward to, and as a person who loves cars, I love the Fast and the Furious franchise, period. And even though it has kind of lost its way in its original mentality, I still think it's a good time to go see the movie. I'm going to review this from basically two standpoints. The first, I'm going to do it as a normal movie. And then the second time, I'm going to do it more as a hardcore old fan. Ready? Okay. As a movie, Fate and the Furious delivered pretty much everything I wanted it to. It was over the top, it was crazy and silly, had really good action scenes, and, well, had the family. For it being the first movie without Paul Walker, I really was scared that was going to be an issue, but it turned out really not to be an issue for me. I still really enjoyed the movie. This movie did a lot of things that were pretty gutsy. First, the movie opens in Cuba, and for them to start filming in Cuba was such a spectacle to me, and it really was pretty accurate with the Cuban car scene. A lot of people have started to document the Cuban car scene about the innovation of these incredible people that live on this island, because the embargo was so long that they kept these things running with things like boat engines and parts from 60 different brands and keeping these cars running for 50 to 70 years. It's incredible to see that those things are being appreciated and put on screen in the United States. So it was really cool seeing the first race scene with Vin Diesel and the Cuban local, and that they were still in classic cars. And moving forward, I would say one of the best parts of this movie, I think, is Jason Statham in The Rock, which I thought with bringing Jason Statham into the franchise would be cool, but I was like, oh, they're just gonna throw him away after, one movie. Because a lot of these villains in these movies don't last very long. They kind of come and go. And a lot of the times you never see them again. With Jason Statham, they brought him in. He was pretty much the most badass villain in the entire franchise. And then all of a sudden it turns around and we have to start liking him. The audience has to start liking him after everything he did. I think that was a huge challenge for the Fast and Furious crew in order for us to like this villain. Any scene with Jason Statham and The Rock, I think they stole the show, and that these guys hate each other, but they end up having to work together. Charlize Theron did an amazing job. She was easily the scariest villain, I think, out of the entire Fast and Furious franchise, mentally, not physically. And she did some really nasty things in this movie, so it kind of throws you off guard. There's lots of twists and turns in this movie that I really didn't expect. I was like, it overall can be pretty predictable, but at the same time, I was glad that I was thrown off guard. The story had lots of ups and downs. And, with Dom being the bad guy for most of the movie, you're like, how in the world is he the bad guy? There is no way he turned his back. But then when you finally do see the reason why he turns his back, it all makes sense. Glad the reason was a sturdy reason, not just because, I don't like you anymore, guys. Sorry, I'm mad about the family. So that was good as well. The harpoon scene in New York City is one of my favorites out of the entire franchise. And probably my favorite action scene in years is Jason Statham going through an airplane, defending himself and a baby. And that added a lot of kind of comic relief, but also is a really good high-tension action scene because he's protecting a baby from all these super evil people. So being on a plane, being confined, almost nowhere to go, while protecting this child was really cool to watch. I think it brought a lot of new flair to the Fast and Furious franchise because if you think about it, there's a lot of fist fights at Fast and Furious, but when it comes to just straight action scenes without cars, that's pretty rare. And we go there for the car action scenes, no doubt about it. But for a classic action scene, that was fantastic. So as a old school person of Fast and Furious, did I like it? Yes, I did. And I actually preferred it over the last two movies. I think Fast 8 is definitely up there with one of my favorites. And I really didn't go in thinking it would be. I mean, a movie being an 8th in a franchise, usually you're just like, oh my god, I'm tired of this by now. Why are we still watching this? And if you think about it, guys, if it was just street racing the entire movie, most people would get tired of it. And if you think about it, most Fast and Furious race scenes are go with a hot chick, then they drive away, gear shift, clutch shot, drive, NOS button, who wins, something crazy happens, somebody wins. Yeah, that's about it, right? I'm happy with that, absolutely. But I'm glad that the action scenes are having a ton more creativity and variety. If you go into this movie expecting the first movie, you're not gonna like it. I'm just gonna warn you. There's a handful of people in the movie theater that I heard were, oh, I was a little disappointed. But I honestly don't know what you're expecting anymore from the Fast and Furious franchise. The franchise has turned a different direction, and you should have been able to notice that from Fast 5 onward. And if you go in with the mentality of the new Fast and Furious, you're gonna love it. I have pretty much no doubt about it. If you're expecting the grassroots, more kind of grounded Fast and Furious, you're not gonna like it. Over the top, I loved it. It was a great time, and I actually would probably go see it again. What did you guys think about the Fate of the Furious? I know I had a fantastic time. Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a fantastic day. Bye!